President Trump has vowed to mobilize the U.S. military in response to the ongoing protests across the country, but does he have the authority to override state and local officials and send in troops? In short, the answer is yes. As commander-in-chief, he can invoke something called the Insurrection Act. That dates back to 1807. It empowers the president to send in federal military forces under specific circumstances. The first, when local leaders request assistance. That's what happened in 1992 when California's governor asked President George Herbert Walker Bush to send in troops during rioting after L.A. police officers were acquitted in the Rodney King beating. His second circumstance is to enforce federal law. President Dwight D. Eisenhower invoked the Insurrection Act in 1957 to enforce school desegregation in Little Rock, Arkansas. It was later used in the 1960s by Presidents Kennedy and Johnson during the Civil Rights Movement.